Okay, women, a lot of you modern women, I've been seeing a lot of videos about you complaining how you can't find a man. A lot of you are foul-mouthed, have a bad attitude. Some of you don't even clean yourselves or your house for that fact. A lot of you say, well, I don't cook, I don't clean. I want a man to spend $500,000 on my engagement and wedding ring. Oh, he's got to make, at least a 500,000 to $1 million a year. Your chances of finding a man like that is like 1 in 1 billion shot. Because a lot of those high value men are not going to wife you up for the simple fact they don't want women with high body counts. And they don't want boss chicks either. They don't want a woman who nags them. And they don't want women who won't submit to their husbands. And here's the difference between you women and myself. One, I'm traditional. That's how my mother raised me. And I'm Generation X. Two, I'm married. You're not. None of my original wedding set wasn't even diamonds. Not even my engagement ring. And you know what? I really don't care. Our first wedding set, I think, costed us like $40. We got married at a little chapel on the strip here in Vegas because that's where we live. You don't need a wedding that costs $500,000. A small, simple wedding will do it. These women out there, you women, what you expect is a man to make 500 to 1,000, 500,000 to $1 million a year. He's supposed, whether he works for a Fortune 500 company and makes that as a CEO or a COO, or he has his own business. You expect him to go out there and work long hours, come home, take care of the kids, cook, clean, and do the yard work while you do what? Go out there and spend his money and be continually fucking all these other men, or maybe his best friend? That's not how it works. And I really don't care if I trigger you women. I don't care about your comments because I'm not here to be liked. A lot of you cannot handle the truth. None of you take any responsibility, zero responsibility, zero accountability. When I was in my young, dumb, stupid phase from my teen years to my 20-something, yeah, there were times that when people would give me constructive criticism, I took it as a personal attack. And I had to learn the hard way. And when I did, I went back and reflected and going, you know what? They weren't trying to attack me. They were trying to give me that help so I wouldn't have to go down that hard road. I learned to take responsibility. I hold my own self accountable for my actions or lack thereof. You know? I mean, if you slept with one or two men, that's not a high body count. Men prefer women that are virgins, but in my case, I had a family member that messed with me at a very young age, the age of 7 to 15, and it messed me up from being able to carry a child to term. And when I got with my husband, I told him how many people straight up that I had been with. I can count them on one hand how many I'd been with. Yes, it's not fair. It's a double standard that, men are allowed to get the box, but women aren't allowed to have sex. Well, you know, that's for your own protection so that you don't get incurable diseases like HIV or AIDS, that you don't get trichomonas or syphilis or gonorrhea and things like that. And it's really a shame that you women don't care about yourselves. It shows that you have zero respect for yourself. So if you don't love and respect yourself and your body, how do you expect a man to love, respect, and trust you? When I cook, I serve my man his plate first. When he cooks, he serves me mine first. You want your man to treat you like a queen, you gotta treat him like a king. You can sit there and, you know, say I'm stupid, this, that, and the other because I submit to my husband. But the one thing my husband said to me that touched me in my heart, because when he came back from the corner store, um, there was a guy that came in there and was talking to the owners that we know. My husband was there visiting the owner after he got what he needed to at the corner store. And the guy said he came home and caught his wife in bed with his best friend. And then she outright slapped him. He never even touched her. My husband came home and told me the story. And he said, the one thing I don't ever have to worry about you is you cheating on me. Now, when we got engaged, because he knew I was bisexual, he didn't think it fair that we be in a closed marriage. He said our marriage would be open. It is open. But I don't have the need or the desire to bring anybody else into my marriage sexually at all. And for you women to spend your own money from your jobs on whatever beauty products, $400-$500 is stupid. When you should be paying your bills, your rent, your car note, whatever. And when a man takes you out on your first date, it should be a coffee date, because that is him getting to know you. See if he could trust you. But you women thinking that he's got to take you to a 5-star restaurant on your first date. The only thing you women are doing is using him for food. Because you spend all of your money on all this other garbage and you have no money for food. You're not worth a 5-star restaurant. And if you women think that you're the prize, you're not. You don't know how to do canning. You can't sew on a sewing machine. You don't know how to crochet. You can't even sew by hand. You don't cook. You don't clean. Those are things that you also need to bring to the table for a man. You need to be there to hear him out. If he comes home and has a bad day and he shares it with you, you need to close your mouth and listen. You need to be his support if he is still working at a job he hates and he's trying to get a business that he wants to do, you need to be his support. Do the research on the type of niche for his business that he wants. Get all the information where he needs to go to get his EIN, how much it's going to cost to get his state business license, how to set up a business account for credit and for banking. That's what he needs from a wife, besides raising their children. You can be mad all you want. And the reason why you're mad is because you know that people who have put videos up speaking the truth, you can't handle the truth. You want everybody to pander to you and perpetuate lies that you can have it all. You can't have it all. And then you get mad when the men here in the United States get their passports and go to Taiwan, the Philippines, Ukraine, Russia, because those women are raised to be traditional wives. They don't give their men attitude. They don't have high expectations and high standards. They're submissive to their husbands. And they don't sleep around. And you women are the reason why men are going their own way. You women are the reason why men are done with you. I was single until I was 43 years old when I met my husband and we became engaged. We were engaged for 11 months before we even got married. And, you know, my husband, he knew everything about my past. I was honest up front. But we were best friends first before we ever became lovers. We had other people that him and I both knew that tried to break us up, and some of them almost damn near succeeded. But my husband had the patience, and we worked out our differences. We're still together almost 9 years later. We've been married actually 8 years. We got 2 more years to go before we hit 10 years. And I'm still here. He's been there every time I've been hospitalized for my chronic kidney disease. And now he knows I have a heart issue. But unless you have a serious medical problem, you should be giving your man sex as well. Unless you are married to a man who doesn't like to have sex with women while they're on their period. There are some men that prefer not to. And that's fine. But you need to change your attitude. You need to change your standards to realistic. Because men are done. The average man, the average height of a man is 5'9" to 5'11", 5'12". You're not going to find a lot of men that are over 6 feet tall. For one. For another, the average man's income is between $60,000 and $80,000 a year. But because of, since the pandemic and the banking and finances and all that here in the US, it's now between 30 and 50,000 is the average income. And the average man is a good man, a good provider, and they're loyal. You need to learn loyalty and not cheat on your boyfriend or cheat on your fiance or cheat on your husbands. More women cheat than men do. And I'm not saying that there aren't men out there that cheat. There are. I'm not saying that there aren't men out there that are abusive to their wives. There are. My mother was married to one. But I'll tell you one thing, when my mother went on dates, my mother made me stay with a neighbor, but she never, ever, ever brought anybody she dated back to our house, and she never introduced any of the men she dated to me because my mother was concerned of my safety. And that's the rare occasions my mother did date because my mother worked herself to death with her housekeeping service. So until you learn to take accountability and responsibility, learn to stop sleeping around, learn to stop involving your girlfriends and your family in your marital problems or relationship issues, and stop twerking on the internet, and close your OnlyFans, or better yet, don't even open an OnlyFans. My husband knew I worked in the BDSM scene. He knew I posed, for a men's nudie magazine. And he knew that I was in that industry. My husband is also a dom in the BDSM world, as am I. But I make it a point not to sleep with my submissives. And that's all I've got to say. You can be triggered, you can do all the hate you want. I really don't care. Because you can't handle the truth. Peace.